Hello.
Hi, Harold. We're on Samech Daled 64. Right? The kid said or heard Shema Yisrael, and the child didn't want to hear it. His parents hadn't taught him it. Miyad Hotzi Yerosum Achekum Achakum Nashko Shanik for Kreso. The child took out like an idol out of his pocket and kissed it and hugged it until like his stomach blew up because of famine. V'naflo Yerosel arts v'naflo hu'aleh. Then the idol fell on the ground and his body fell on the idol. L'kayim Hashanam, it fulfilled the pasuk, the curse. V'nosati es pigrechem al pigrei gilulechem. That your corpses will fall on the corpse of the idol. Well, we see from here that they were connected to Avodah Zarah. So Basar Davikubei. So but prior they were not. Later on they were. Toshma. Vayzaku b'kol gadol Hashem Eloheihem. In the time of Ezra and Nehemiah, they cried out to God. My Omer. The tema bye bye. They said whoa whoa. And whoa whoa to the Yetzer Hara of Avodah Zarah, the Achav Lebesa that caused the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, the Kali Lehechala, the Heichal was burned, the Kaplin Tzadike, Tzadikim were killed, Vaglin Yisrael Marayu, and Klai Yisrael were exiled from their land. Vadaydom Rakibin, we still have Yetzer Hara of Avodah Zarah, Klum Yavislan El Kabul Beis Agra. We were given the Yetzer Hara by Hashem in order to fight against it and get reward by overcoming it. Lo iu being a v'lo agreement. We don't want it, and we don't want the reward. So Basar Davikubei. This is also not in the beginning. This was later on when they became close to Avodah Zarah. So what did the Anshe Knesset Gdola do when they heard this complaint? Yosfu tlosa yom betanisa. They fasted for 3 days. Bo rakmi, they davened that they should get rid of the Yetzer Hara for Avodah Zarah. Nafalu pitka merikia daviksiv bei. A note from Shemayim came down, emes, to say that Hashem agrees. And Rav Chanina Shmamina, the signature of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is truth. Nafak kegurya denurmi beis kosher kadoshim. Like a lion that was like fire came out of the Kodesh Kadoshim. This and it escaped.
Okay, hold on. Where are you? Sorry.
Samech Daled, where the Samech Daled Amud Aleph, about a third the way down, where the Anshe Knesset Gdola is davening for the Yetzer Hara of Avodah Zarah to be removed, and Hashem agreed, and the Yetzer Hara came out looking like a line of fire from the Kodesh Kadoshim. Omer Luhu, Zechariah the Navi said, this is the Yetzer Hara of Avodah Zarah. Ma'ari the Katapsi lay, when they tried to grab it, Yishtabed b'nisim minei v'azl kalya barba mea parsi. So it like cried because of pain. You could hear it from 400 miles. What should we do? Dilma mishmayim rachmelai. That min hashamayim, they're gonna have rachmanis on this Yetzer Hara if we go to kill it. So, Amar Lamanavi, Shadisa bedudu da avra v'kasri ba'avra d'shayv kolei. Put it in a cauldron of lead, and that'll dampen its voice, and it won't be heard. Shneimar, Vayomer zosar rishra v'yashlecho sa el tocha efa v'yashlechos even al fresel pia. They got rid of the avodah of the Yetzer Hara for avodah zarah. Amri, we see Hashem is listening to us. Chol ve'etz rotzonu nivi rachmi hayetzer davera. They said, well, let's get rid of the Yetzer Hara for sex. Bo rachmi imser b'dayu. They davened, it was given to them. Chavshu tlosa yomi. They put it into prison, this Yetzer Hara, for 3 days. But there was a sick person that needed an egg. Ibu beisa bas yom l'chol. They needed a fresh egg. The chickens stopped laying eggs because there was no sexual drive in the world anymore because they had him in prison.
Amos, I got it to this, Father.
Hechi navin. So what we should do? Nivi palga. Should we daven that half of the koyach of the Yetzer Hara for the sexuality should be removed? Palga merakilo avi. It's all or none when you ask for Shemaim, either 100% or 0. So what do? Kachlinu leine. They blinded it. And what it did is ahani bei de lo igri inish b'krovaseh. You see, in the times of the Torah, we actually read Parshas Arayos on Yom Kippur. What does Parshas Arayos mainly deal with? Don't sleep with your sister, don't sleep with your mother, don't sleep with your daughter, don't sleep with your daughter-in-law, all of these relatives. Who has a Yetzer Hara to have relations with their relatives? L'chora, it was a very strong Yetzer Hara. Family groups probably lived together. That's the way they lived at the time, in tents and things like that. So people were thrown together, and this was a problem. But at this time, of the Anshe Knesset Gdola, they davened, and they blinded this Yetzer Hara. Now we see people don't have a strong desire to live with their relatives. They have desire for sex, but not necessarily that one. There was a non-Jewish woman who was sick. She said, if I get healed, I will worship every avodah zarah. She got healed, and she went to worship every avodah zarah. Kivan shigia lepoor. She got to Baal Peor. She asked the priest, how do you worship this? They eat radishes or something that causes diarrhea. V'shois and shecha, they drink beer. You go to the bathroom in front of the idol. I'd rather be sick, go back to my illness, than worship an avodah zarah like this. But Rav Yehuda said the Jewish people were not like that. This woman couldn't stand worshiping it. But you, and it's madim l'bal pa'or. Kitzamid pasil. That means just like a kli is connected, like a lid is connected to a kli, Klal Yisrael were very connected to Baal Pa'or. When we are dovuk l'Hashem, it's like 2 dates sort of stuck together. But they're not strongly stuck together. But the Bnei Yisrael, when they were dovuk to Baal Pa'or, was tighter. B'masnisa tana, hanismadim leBaal Pa'or ketzomet al yedei isha. It's just being next to a woman, not really stuck to her. But so they do stick to Hashem closer. Torah Baruch. Ma'aseh b'sabta ben Elis, shehizkir chamoiroi l'noch risachas. He rented a donkey and its various implements to a non-Jewess, and she was walking after the donkey. Kivan shigila pa'or amrlo hamtein, and I guess Sabta ben Elis walked with her. When they got to Peor, this Goyeta said to Sapta, wait for me, I'm going to go in, worship, and come out. So this Sapta ben Elis, who was Jewish, said, you wait for me, I'll also go in. Aren't you Jewish? How are you doing this avodah zarah? What do you care? Nichlas par b'fana. He went to the bathroom in front of the idol, and he cleaned himself with the nose of the idol. He wanted to sort of be mavaz this avodah zarah, but he didn't realize how you kumri makalsin lo. The priests of the Balpor were happy. There was never anyone who worshipped it so great. Because the worship of Balpor is to be mavaza it in the worst way. That's kedarko. So the halach is apoyer atzma lebalpor reis ovedoso. You go to the bathroom from Balpor, that's the normal way. Afal gavda mechavil bizui. Even though your kavana is to be mavaza the idol, but that's you'd still be chai. Hazorik even lemarkula zui avodoso. When you throw a stone to Mercury, that's also the avodah. Even though you want to like stone it. Rav Menashe have a cousin Beit Turta. Rav Menashe went to go to a place Beit Turta. Amrlo. So they said avodah zarah the koyacha. There's avodah zarah here with a pile of stones. Struggle piece of shadabei. He took like a clod of dirt and threw it at it. He wanted to be mavazi. They told him Markel is he, and this is Mercury, and the avodah is to throw things at it. Armil Azar given Markulis. It's only if you're doing it as a form of worship, but I did it, my kavanah is to be mavazi. So what's the din? Also shol be midrasha. They went to the yeshiva. So they told him, Azar gave him Markulis Tanan. Alpha gav the mechavin lemirgam. Even though all you want to do is throw stones at it, you're still chai. Armalu ezel ishkalech. So he wanted to go and take the stone back that he threw. So he said, Echad anoitlav, echad anoistachai. Whether you remove a stone or throw a stone, you're chai. Because each stone makes room for another stone. Mishnah. Hanoisen mizar la moila. There's a special avodah zarah moila. So we had a machlokas Rashi and Ramban. Rashi learns there are two bonfires and you walk in between the bonfires. The Ramban learned you actually burn the child. We had this in Malachim. Hanoisen mizar la moila. We get skila. You have to give the child to the priests of the moilech. V'yavir bo'esh. You have to do both actions, and then passing the child through the fire. And if you only did one of the two, Mosar l'molech v'lo yavir bo'esh, you gave him to the priest, but didn't pass him through the fire. Or yavir bo'esh v'lo Mosar l'molech eno chayiv. If you only did one of the two, you're not chayiv. Eno chayiv, but sheyimsar l'molech v'yavir bo'esh. Tani avodah zarah. In our Mishnah, on Sanach Amid Beis, we talked about Avodah Zarah and how you're Mechayiv. But Ketani, Moilech. L'chora, they're two separate things. Amr Avavim, so it comes out, Tnan Kemandomer Moilech Lav Avodah Zarah. Doing Moilech is its own thing. It's not under the category of Avodah Zarah. And it's got a very specific way to worship it. And therefore, if you bow down to it, or shechted in front of it, or did Kitu or Nisuch, you're not chai. And we learn in the Baraisa, Echad lemoilach. That's if you give your child to the moilach, or you give your child to the priests of Peor, right? Echad l'sharvadas or chayiv. Moilach is another example of other avodah zaras. But Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Shimon, no. Lemoilach chayiv shalom lemoilach potter, because he holds moilach is its own thing. Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Chanina ben Antigonus, Armu Davar. They they hold like the same concept. Rav Lezer, Rav Shimon Hadamar. What's Rav Chanina ben Antigdus? Rav Chanina ben Antigdus, they mataf the Torah shel Moilach. Why do they call it Moilach? Kol davar shimlichu aleim. They caused this thing to rule over them. It's a lashon melech. Afilu tzor, afilu kitzim, even if it was a stone or a stick. According to this, according to Rav Chanina, if you pass your son to somebody that's not called Moilech, you're not chayiv. So he's like Rav Lezer Rav Shimon. Rava Omar, no. It's one shita, and Moilech aroy ikibinayim, a temporary Moilech. That Rav Lezer Rav Shimon said you're chayiv only for a permanent Moilech. Rav Chanina, no, even if it's just temporary. Rav Yadai, ein a chayiv ad shiyim serenu lekumorim. You're not chayiv for Moilech unless you give it over to the priest. Shneimar umizarcha lo titein lavir lamoilech. It's lashon nesina, which means giving over to the kumorim of the Moilech. Tanya mahachi yachol hever velo maso yechayiv. I would think that just passing your child through the fire and you didn't give it to the priest, you'd be chayiv tamad lamer lo sitein. You need to give. Maso lamoilech velo hever beish yachol yechayiv. You gave it to the priest, but you didn't pass it through fire. I might think you'd still be chayiv. No, because it says la'avir. So you need both. Maser ve'hever shalol lamoilech. You gave it to the priests of Balpor, and you passed it through Balpor, that you're not chayiv. Yachli yechayiv tamad lamer lamoilech. Has to be specifically for moilech. Maser ve'hever lamoilech v'lo be'eish. You gave it to moilech, but you didn't pass it through fire. Yachli yechayiv nemer kan la'avir. V'nemer lahalan lo yimatzeh b'cha ma'avir b'no v'ito ba'eish. Ma lahalan is ba'eish. It says clearly in pasuk fire. Avkan ba'eish. And ma kan lemoilech. Af lahalan moilech. Am ravacha b'no shel rava. Hevir kozaro potter. You brought all your children. You're potter. Should ever mizaracha. The lo kol zaracha. Boy Ravashi. Hevir suma. The child was blind. Or Yarshan, sleeping. Does the child have to be able to walk by himself without being led there? So a sleeping person needs to be led. A blind person needs to be led. Or maybe there's no difference. Or, Hever is ben beno, ben bitoma. What about a grandchild? So the Gemara says, Tifshat miyochada. Let's answer at least one of these questions. The Tanya. Ki mizaro nasalamak. Matamud lomar, what's mizaro? That's only a son and a daughter. Ben beno ben bito minai. What about a grandson, granddaughter, or grandson, the son of your son and the son of your daughter? Talmud lover besito mizaro. Even those, that's part of your zera is the grandchildren. So at least we answered that. Tona Pesach. Kimizaro, he started with the drasha Kimizaro. Posag b'Chimizaro, the Salek b'Sito Mizaro. Why do you need two psukim? So it's a drasha achrina, it's a bichlal different drasha. It says Zaro, Ein li ela kosher. Maybe not a mamzer. Maybe you have to have a zera kosher. Right? Someone who was married to you. Zera posel, like a mamzer. That minayim, besito mizaro. As long as it's from your zera, even if it's not kosher, you would be chayiv for moed. You have to pass the child. There was a row of bricks in between the yellow brick row, in between the two bonfires. You have to walk on the bricks. There's bonfire on one side of the bricks, bonfire on the other side. You have to walk in between. Rav Amar Kishamavarta de Puria. Like Purim, people used to jump over bonfires on Purim. You have to do it that way, like jump. Tanya Kavasi de Rava. Enochavat Shevna derech Avora. Avora beregel potter. Just walking is not enough. You have to jump, which is not like a baya. Then it says the Bryce, it has to be a child of yours, Hakket, not a relative. Your parents and your brothers didn't come out of you, so you're potter. What about he himself? Heavier atzmo. He walks through the potter. But Rabbi Lezer Rab Shimon mechayiv. Echad l'moilach, echad l'avodah chayiv. Now, if you pass to moilach or pass to other avodah zarah, you're chayiv. Rabbi Shimon l'moilach chayiv, shalom l'moilach potter. It's only l'moilach that you're chayiv. Amar l'may time Rabbi Lezer Rab Shimon, who is mechayiv if you walk yourself. Amar kra lo yimat say v'cha ma'avir b'no v'ito ba'esh. B'cha ba'atzmacha. You're in the Isra as well. Rabbanan lo darshi b'cha. The Chacham didn't darshan it. Ayvatnan. What do you mean they don't darshan? It says avedaso v'avedas aviv. He lost something. His father lost something. He has to return it. So shelo kodemes. He has to be worried about returning his first. But I mean, in my time, why? Because this is Amar Avid Amar Kra. Efes kiloya v'cha evyon. You should not become poor. Shelo kodemes l'chaladim. His lost objects go first, because the Torah says b'cha. So you see, b'cha means you. Why don't they darshan over there? So hasam efes. Efes is a limits it. So he has to be sure that he does not become an evyon. Amar Yosef Reb Chanina sholish krisis b'avodah zarah. It says 3 times koris b'avodah zarah. It says once by Moila. It says by Magadev cursing Hashem. And it says by regular avodah zarah. Why? Lama. Achas kedarka. When you worship an avodah zarah kedarka, you get koris. Achas shelo kedarka. Once, if you worshipped it shelo kedarka, a regular avodah zarah. Achas l'moilach. And if you worship moilach, you get koris. However, we already had a machlokas whether moilach is its own avodah zarah or unique thing. So kares b'moilach lamli. Why did the Torah have to waste time and write kares again by moilach? It's already under the avodah zarah kares. Lemavri b'no shelo kedarka. According to this shita, if you pass your son through fire to any other avodah zarah, even though that's not the normal derech of avodah, the Torah assered that. So that means you worship something else, shelo kedarka, because it's only kedarka of moilech to do that. However, Lamandar Magadev is avodah zarah. There are those that say that cursing Hashem is part of avodah zarah and is not its own isser. Then, according to those people, kores b'Magadev lamli l'chedetanya. You need a kores for him to depart this world. And you need another kores for Olam Haba. Because it says, Kidvar Hashem Bazah, when he cursed, he says, Kidvar Hashem Bazah v'tzmisvaso efar, he kares ha-nefesh ahi avon haba. He kares, which is Ba'olam Hazeh. Ti kares Olam Haba, div Rabbi Kiva. Olam Yisrael, look, when Nemar, by Magadev, it says, v'nichraso ha-nefesh ahi mikir v'ama. So, v'chishloisha ilama, what do you mean, 3 worlds? He kares is Olam Haba. Ti kares, you don't learn anything. It's dibra Torah. It's a speech, like sometimes the Torah will repeat, like ish, right? So here, oh well, he kares the grace. You don't learn anything special from that. Okay. Tomorrow we'll learn at 3:30. Okay.
Shkoyach, it's very, and it's
Very interesting.
all this
Crazy.
And
It happened.
And by the way,
this is Masechta Sanhedrin. Wait till we get to Masechta Avodah Zarah.
Zora, but Baal Peor, what they were defecating in front of Baal Peor, I mean, we have it in the Torah with Baal Peor, because you have the end of Korach and the beginning of Pincha, you have it there. So, but Baal Peor, so I was listening to a shir today about on this stuff also. I listened to the guy from Har Etzion, this very, very good shir. So they said Rabbi Amital was the Rosh Shiva over there. And he to give. He was a big baki in this, and he said, "What do you mean? What did these people see in Baal Peor? What did they see that they would do such a thing?" He said it was the people who they want to go all natural. It's natural to take a whatever. So that's why this is like that, and you see that again over and over. Oh,
you're saying like the green movement.
Yeah,
right. It's
yeah,
like
nature.
ecology.
We have to. It's
Interesting.
very good.
Natural.
And he says, it says like he brought Rav Kook as well, that our job is to, they think that nature is perfect. Nature is not perfect. Our job is to perfect nature and Makadesh nature.
Very good.
It's not always perfect. It's like,
very good.
It's a very good, you see that. I thought it was such an interesting shiur.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. It's very good. Makes sense. It's like they worship Pan, the nature and flowers and trees.
By the way, you should know, Rav Kook was radical. Do you know Rav Kook has a shita that when the Beis HaMikdash is going to be built in the future, there's not going to be animal korbanos.
There won't be korbanos. Yes,
it's only going to be menachos. No, menachos.
Right, I know, but
so he's a little vegan. That means flour. No, animal. Why would we go back to animal? So that's very controversial because the Rambam. If you look at the Rambam,
Rambam asks that you're going to have it.
Based on Migdash, you're going to have regular korbanos.
Right.
So how does Rav Kook? I heard Rabbi Korupkin I was in Ranana, and I heard Rav Korupkin. He was a guest. The Shabbos I was there. He spoke about this Rav Kook. This Rav Kook. It's also brought in that new Mark Shapiro book that I showed you.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a very interesting stuff. I just like I like to hear other
By the way, Stevie and Rifki Weiss told me they're also going to the south of France.
Yeah, I heard. Is Harold coming?
I've been already. I don't know. I go again. I've been.
Okay.
Yeah, but you haven't been with Ernie.
I've been with Ernie. Don't tell Susie.
Right. He went to Portugal. We all went to Portugal together.
Yeah.
I gave a whole mahalach just they let you go about bringing how come Abraham Avinu was told to bring his son, it's like Moilach, right?
Right.
And what happened in the end and what we're supposed to do. So he talked about that the psychology, I think this is Rav Kook, the psychology is that they love HaKadosh Baruch Hu so much that they want to give HaKadosh Baruch Hu their most precious possession. That's why they were bringing these korbanos of their children. But that's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us children for us to love them. It's not that say brought them. It's a very interesting idea also.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Okay.
See you later.
See you later.
Very good. See you later.